Doctor, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, yes, go ahead. Very nice.
So can I start the presentation?
Yes, go ahead. Start,
Okay, right.
please.
So I'm very happy. I feel overwhelmed with my presence and with the presence of the colleagues, eminent personalities, learned scholars, researchers, scientists, faculties from various institutions in and around the world for the practical
Recording in
scientific
progress.
conference. And this is my topic. And before going into this topic, I should tell you that this is an enhancement or visualization of what Dr. Naomi Peris from Budapest, Hungary, has enhanced with regards to digitalization of information technology. And my topic for you all is welcome you all to the digital era. This is information technology in economics. So this is especially for you, young researchers, faculty members, and students from various institutions in and around the world. And this is Dr. Christo Ananth for you. You can reach me at dr.christoananth@gmail.com. So before beginning the session, I would like to thank God for giving me this opportunity, a very golden opportunity, to deliver this useful session, to share my knowledge among my fellow national, international participants, students, young researchers, tech minds, scientists, faculty members from various institutions. Doctor, should I need a translator for translating my session?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, we have translation.
Okay, great.
You can continue, we can just make it.
Right.
Nice translation.
Okay. So before beginning the session, I would like to thank all the officials, Professor Kulmaradav Rastam, who is the rector of this university, and then tribute to our officials as well. We have Professor Salim Ahmed John, Vice Rector Academic Affairs. We have Professor Raxmanova Zeminuza Pulatovna, Vice Rector for Youth Affairs and Spiritual Enlightenment. And we have Professor Raxmanova Zeminuza Pulatovna, Vice Rector for Scientific Works and Innovations. We have Professor Yudhashib Shamsuddin, Vice Rector for Financial Economic Affairs. We have Professor Nazira Masto, Vice Rector for International Cooperation. And of course, Professor Akmal Akhtar, Head of the Department of Natural Sciences. So this is what we are going to discuss at a glance. Before going into this topic, I should remind you once again that this is an enhancement of what Dr. Naomi Peris of Budapest, Hungary has visualized with the digitalization of information technology. So I'm going to give you some research work where we are going to work together in order to digitalize the information technology with regards to economics. So we are going to have a short introduction about global digital transformation, and then we would have structure of internal expenses of economic entities, and then we will have some internal expenses structure with regards to digitalization activities that has to be done from the Russian Federation as well as the government of Uzbekistan. And then we are going to have the inference. We are going to have the inference about our results. And then we would have the importance of information and communication technology in our country. And then use of modern technologies that would develop a strong economy in Uzbekistan in everyday life. And then we will have development of ICT industry, the most famous IT tax maneuver law, and then we will have a survey about largest local IT companies which are working towards the global economy. and then the impact of new conditions within Uzbekistan in the ICT industry, and then inclusion of SMEs into the digitalization process. And then I'll be having a short video, if time permits, to explain how the Russian economy is the greatest with regards to the emerging markets, and of course we will have conclusion and have references. And as far as the time constraints are limited, I believe I shall be completing very shortly, so that everybody will have time for presenting their works as well. Yes, so I believe there's a translator. So because this topic of interest is much more concerned with the Russian Federation. Of course, it is applicable to Uzbekistan, but still on the Russian Federation as a whole, I would like to present this topic. So this is a short introduction about global digital transformation. So as you can see, over the years, very recent years, Russian Federation has seen significant progress in digital transformation in recent years. The changes being large scale, federal authorities, economic and social spheres, and national security. Translation, please.
Dr. Ananth, you can continue. We are making translation here.
Right. Okay, right. So with regards to the digitalization of Russian economy, this is what we have to do, because we people are learned scholars, but we have to educate the people in all spheres so that we become more digitalized with regards to whatever we use, the currency we use, the products we use, the information technology we are trying to access, the data driven management and the analysis. We have to make it digitalization. So what you can say, like a monetization and demonetization should appear concurrently whenever there is a need. And in this situation, the role of digital transformation leaders is very, very important, because digital transformation leaders are the ones who will be able to create such an environment for the development of these digital technologies in various industries. So digitalization of economy is the topmost priority, because when you try to introduce these digital technologies, definitely it will make a much broader impact in the individual economic entities. And we can say that because of this effect, economic entities will have a good time in determining the priority areas of digitalization. We can impart these technologies into our current business processes, may it be database management or maybe production, sales, advertisement, marketing, production. We can have this global digital transformation. As far as 2020 is concerned, when it comes to digitalization of processes in all spheres of society's life, it accounted to 54%. The digitalization processes accounted to 54% in the last year, 2020. And generally, it is a relatively high figure when you compare it over the years from 2018 to 2019. So this digitalization processes, these regularization is carried out by a number of state bodies, including Ministry of Digital Development, Communications and Mass Media. So they have given some guidelines for the companies, how they should perform and how they should regularize the activity of the digitalization process. So frequent recommendations were actually carried out in order to have a strategy and the key indicators that are necessary for assessing the efficiency and controlling the processes. So this is the topic of concern. So whenever you have an implementation, you should have an action plan. So With regards to the internal expenses of economic entities, we are going to analyze it and we are going to jump at a conclusion from the intermediate steps. So you can see this digital transformation is going to make a major impact on all industries, the leaders who are taking part in the process, and you can see these digital technologies are most effectively implemented in a field of IT and communication. So the top positions are being held by the credit institutions, the financial sector, we have the housing sector, telecommunication sector, insurance companies, life insurance companies, health insurance, also the oil and gas industry, which is a more powerful source of economy. And we should analyze the structure of internal expenses. Only then, with regards to the sales, development, distribution, and implementation of digital economies over the years like 2018, 2019, and 2020, only if you inspect the structure of internal expenses, then we will come to a conclusion about how we regularize the process so well. So this is actually a small chart, a pie chart where I have analyzed the structure of internal expenses of economic entities for the digitalization activities. So as you can see, the contributing factors being information and communication, we have professional, scientific and technical activities, we have financial and insurance activities, we have education sector, we have manufacturing industries, wholesale and retail businesses, public administration and social security, we have transport, we have storage, we have real estate, we have healthcare operations, we have energy supply, we have building and mining. So as you can see from the chart, we can see that information and communication generally occupies the major landmark. It is 21.6. Next comes professional, scientific and technical activities, and the rest follows. Okay, so you can see like information and communication occupies the first part with regards to the other entities like professional, scientific and technical activities. And you can see that AI, artificial intelligence, is booming right now. AI and ML are booming right now, and they are even starting courses in UG level, PG level, as well as PhD level in the universities. So they deserve special attention, because the students, when they are able to graduate, they are able to get their dream placements in terms of pilot projects. Just before their graduation, they are able to get their dream placements and companies. So thanks to the emerging trend of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and as you can observe in 2020, the number of pilot projects has been increased by 38% compared to 2019. And even the usage of digital technologies by the companies, it has also increased up to 85% on the modern information technology tools. Because when we are adapt to the modern information technology tools, we can actually increase the economy of the Uzbekistan as well as the Russian Federation. Generally, it will grab several funds from funding agencies, generally like the local people, regional people, national people, and even the international people around the world will start to look at Uzbekistan and the Russian Federation. So digital transformation processes, they generally contribute to the emergence of next industrial revolution. So this is the future of the next industrial revolution. May it be industry, may it be transport, logistics, any type of industry, you can see digital transformation process to be the future, to be the vision of all. In addition to the positive trends, digital transformation process have a number of negative trends, because if you don't have good knowledge in it, then you are going to land in a wrong track. The difference in development between organization and economic entities is naturally growing. So generally the situation for digitalization, the need for digitalization, the profitability, the profit loss ratio, the efficiency of companies really matters when it comes to digital transformation processes. Now comes the most interesting part, which is information and communication technology in the country. As you can observe and analyze the Russian IT market, I feel proud to say that it is one of the world's largest markets with a population of around 144 million people with a more promising and significant potential. I believe and I fervently believe that by 2025 they are expected to be 124 million internet users in Russia. I strongly believe that because we have several contributing factors, like we have market intelligence for the IT technology that we use in the market, and the value of the Russian IT market generally grew up to 7% to the value of $24.8 billion by 2019. So it is able to show a steep rise in the IT market, and the main growth drivers being the software services and hardware solutions. So we were able to concentrate on the success factors. So that's the reason we were able to naturally improve with regards to the information and communication technology in the country. Once again, as you observe the data, like over the year of 2019, like roughly around 1.3 million people were employed in the IT sector. So like 1.7% of the employed population of Russia were there in the IT sector, and it contributed to nearly 2.7% of GDP. So if you generally analyze in terms of the share, the sector is comparable to the energy supply. Like we had like 2.9 percentage, which is still lower than the agriculture, like 4.4 percentage. The financial sector contributed to 4.2 percentage. Construction field contributed to 6.4 percentage, and mining industry contributed to 10.4 percentage. So you can say that the sector is still comparable to the energy supply. And you can see that there is an increase in the IT spending in banking and oil and gas industry. Even in Gulf we have the same issue, as well as in the public sector even. And reflecting the structure of economy, the IT expenditures are concentrated among the 100 largest Russian companies, which account for nearly 85% of the local IT spending. So digitalization and information and communication technology plays a vital role here. And we have the industry's fastest growing segments to be hosting, maintenance of software, maintenance of domain, administration, central administration, consulting features, software customization, and IS services, information security services. So generally there is a huge demand on the IT services. So there is a huge requirement that we have to digitalize this IT sector. So even in Uzbekistan, even in the Russian government is taking constant steps in introducing modern technologies in everyday life. Even the vaccines we use the modern one, which normally the US people use. So with regards to the technologies we use while attempting to maintain a significant control over the information, even for the past few years, the industry's framework has generally developed. As you can observe, telemedicine law, the universal law, which was developed around 2018, the law of critical infrastructure, which was developed in 2017, online cash register law, which was developed in 2017, amendments to the public-private partnership law, which was developed in 2018. So these were the the laws which were actually contributing to the development of IT infrastructure, and several tax incentives for the industries were being introduced at regular intervals to curb the modern technologies, to make sure the people use the modern technologies to adapt, to be more flexible with these modern technologies in everyday life. And ICT industry has tremendously developed in 2020 during this COVID times. Even at the beginning, we had some recession with the ICT market because the industry experienced the adverse effect of pandemic after its moderate growth in 2019. But still, the alarming situation attracted the government's attention, and the Russian president actually convened a meeting during June 2020 for the development of ICT industry. Generally, we had some support by creating globally competitive conditions for IT businesses and IT specialists in Russia. So we were able to grab attention even in the pandemic period. And now comes the very famous IT tax maneuver law. The government has recently published the IT tax maneuver law, which decreases the corporate tax rates from 20% to just very low 3%. And the new legislation will reduce the social security tax rates to less than 7.6% compared to the 30% in other sectors of the economy. And you can see the big boss, United States is one of the leading suppliers of IT products and technologies in the Russia's highly competitive market. And here the quality of most domestic products is lesser than the foreign manufacturers, and the Russian firms are very keen in selling these products and services at much lower cost. So you can see the tech giants being Google, Apple, IBM, Cisco, Oracle, Intel, Dell and HP are among the US market participants which face competition from the Russian firms, including the what you call it to be the Kaspersky lab, the most famous lab we have over here, Yandex, 1C, Cognitive Technologies, EPAM Systems, CFT, Luxoft, Abe, Acronis, Paris, CBOS and Mail.ru. So this is Mail.ru we would have come across. We had several competitive Russian firms which are much more in a global fashion. Definitely it is going to compete with the US market participants. So that's a good news for our Russian firms. And then we have the largest local IT companies back in 2020, according to TWE Advisor. We were able to research the largest local IT companies. So we have Rostec Corporation, we have Diversified ICT Services and Products, we have NCC, which is Diversified ICT Services and Products as well, similar to Rostec. And then we have Lanet, which is providing services with regards to system integrator, engineering and consulting. We have Softline, digital transformation, cyber security and cloud services, and we have 1C for data analysis and for IT services. So we are able to have huge global as well as local IT companies here in the Russian Federation. And impact of these new conditions. So after the COVID, many things have changed, even the lifestyle has even changed. So the new conditions in ICT industry will result in higher software prices for consumers and increased prices for the mobile internet. So generally it requires some investment in hardware in order to tackle the information security, but still the end product is good. And in IT infrastructure development, we will have some good success factors even. But still, if you can analyze the main barriers, difficult political conditions, restriction on doing business with sanctioned industry sectors being energy, finance and defense, and immaturity of solutions through the breakthrough technology. So still the new conditions are booming up and emerging up in the future markets. And we have the inclusion of SMEs into the digitalization processes, and we have experts who mentioned the government's policy of building the digital economy. So that's the primary motive of our government and the rapid development of IT services sector as a main driver of the industry's growth. Overall, you can see that inclusion of SMEs is going to add flavor into the digitalization processes. We have the concept of IoT, Internet of Things, or maybe WOT, Web of Things, which is anticipated to lead the ICT industry to recovery in 2021-2022. So SMEs have a huge role over here in IoT and WOT. And all we can do is summarize what we have discussed. So the national project digital economy of the Russian Federation needs to be finalized, and further appropriate changes should be made with regards to the development of digital tools. Only if you develop and coordinate this digitalization process, we are going to grow collectively. And development and implementation of system of incentives for the organization generally related to digitalization, the development of digital technologies generally curb to the digital economy. We have the competitors, global competitors over here, Kaspersky Lab and Yandex. Definitely it is going to hold leading positions in the global market. And support for the development of small and medium-sized businesses generally are engaged in the development of digital technologies and providing services in a more digital and information technological front. And then we have the improvement of personal policy in the development of information technology. So then generally we can go for recruitment of a new professional, well-trained new teaching staff. So that's the development of the education system. We don't need personnel over here. We need trained personnel to increase the level of the training of specialists, so that we can actually compete with the China and US as well in the global market to solve the problem and the shortage of the personnel in the field of information technology. So I'm very happy to participate in this practical scientific conference. I'm sure you would have got something out of it. And again, I should tell you, even being an Indian, I'm pretty much interested in researching this market, this global market with regards to digitalization in the Uzbekistan and the Russian Federation as well. So thank you for the opportunity given. And these are the references. And for everything, for every work that we have to do, I keep on telling to myself, and I have to initiate. I am entirely responsible, even though we are a team, that I should also take part in it, and never ever give up with regards to any activity, economic activity we take forward in the global markets. And thank you for your patience, and let's start working. Thank you.
Yeah, I have, can you please summarize the some impacts of the digitalization to the employment of the population?
With regards,
small question to you.
Yeah. Okay. So with regards to digitalization of the process, we should include SMEs as far as to the maximum extent, and in order to generally avoid the process of maybe tampering of notes, or maybe with regards to theft activities, the various terrorist activities that are taking place in and around, we should monitor the monetization and demonetization procedures very accurately. And also with regards to the information security, we should strengthen the policy of cyber security, and we should make sure that no other intruder, maybe even the personnel other than the personnel, can generally include or maybe participate in our security procedures. So if we are able to educate everybody in this world, even the poor, even the needy, if we are able to give or maybe impart education to everybody, so generally we will have a good time. Everybody will be educated. GDP definitely it will be contributing, and stock market, share market is going to rise.